became a lot more difficult. Shield management wasn't as good, and Faz was able to just walk forward after burning a lot of flame strikes into York. He was able to find an Earth Shadow, walk straight past the shield, find a free man, and after that things went very sourly. Unfortunately, point B, Birmingham lost a 5-minute lead fairly quickly over the fact that they were playing a transitional dive comp which wasn't played to its best way, because they were playing with Mercy and Pharah. The way you want to play is you want to go off dives based on how many directs or kind of splash damage you get off the Pharah, but at the moment it was very uncoordinated, and in the end it came down to 4 minutes of Suwon kind of finding these flanks that he had no real right to find, and after that they dismantled it from there. They finally pushed into point C, and they had a lot easier time because it seems that once Birmingham have got a clear mindset of what they need to do, and that's push it around this bend, they have a lot easier time, whereas in point B there's a lot more flanks to deal with. Now we're coming back into the second round where York get a chance to show us what they can do on the attack, and 1 minute 36 remaining for Birmingham. This is definitely not over yet.
Certainly isn't, and it's a very interesting match here because we've seen on specifically NUEL, not in general, but a lot of people do struggle with this last point. It's something that we have seen a couple of times. What do teams need to bring out if they are going to roll on through that last point? Because you did say that it's actually not too hard if you are playing specific things.
So the way Dorado works is fine to play Reinhardt Zarya point A as you come through, because there's not much high ground to contest other than coming through the left flank over here, which our teams will definitely do a lot of times. We saw LA Gladiators pull it out versus London Spitfire. Didn't work because London Spitfire took advantage of the stair flank on the left side. The hardest part here, Rook, is coming into point B, because now there's a lot more high ground to contend with. You need to play this transitional dive, and you need to do it quite quickly. So you swap your Zarya off, you swap your Reinhardt off, you go over to Winston Diva, you swoop them off the high ground, and you hold these corners. Up to the defensive team to hold on this very first bend, and you will see a lot of fights occur here because it gives more time for the defensive team to be proactive, set up their Widow in greater positions to find those shots, which York did. They did very well, in fact. But point C, that again, you switch back over to very much the footsie ground battle, Reinhardt Zarya type of style.
Mm-hmm. Certainly be interesting to see what gets brought out here. We do see Faz hovering that Orisa, and on this high ground, it is a pretty strong pick alongside this Junkrat. And talking about Junkrat, I'm really impressed. I've been really impressed pretty much every time I've seen it with Kirkmania, the UOB Zeus's projectile DPS player. Absolutely fantastic on that, and in every scenario I've seen him has been generating ultimate like nobody business.
Yeah, so these guys are playing a pretty typical anti-dive with Cloudy on the Diva here. Barracuda goes down straight away to a pick from Suwon, so they are going to be sent packing straight back to spawn unless they get a res off that, which they don't. They'll just wait for them to get back up, and a lovely second pick from Suwon. That's just going to stop them in the tracks right here. This is strange, though, because they're playing anti-dive versus... They know it's going to be Reinhardt Zarya, right? So no one's going to be diving onto the front line. So I guess this is going to be more about put a lot of pressure onto the tank core at the front, allow Suwon to find those picks.
Mm-hmm. And we start to see some poke coming through. They're looking to try and muscle through this choke, and they really need Nevbox to lead the charge there as that Reinhardt. He is looking for an opportunity, but the Orisa here from Faz is looking to try and poke him down a bit as we see all of that spam come through the choke.
You will see Swig on the right side here. He wants to control the right-hand flank, and Kirkmany has actually put down there as well as prevent them from coming through. The moment Neblox is just standing there, and they're waiting for Barracuda to find a pick, but Rob immediately gets pulled in, and that's Barracuda as well.
Yeah, Barracuda is going to go down. Fantastic hook coming out, and they capitalize on it properly. This is a good hold so far from UOB Zeus. They haven't let them through the choke, and that's their major part. Once you get through there, it's going to be a real struggle.
Yeah, it looks like Faz is taking great use and making a lot of value out of the he did pull out. Pull Barracuda off the left-hand high ground, and again, you see it. They went for a cheeky halt hook combo. They didn't quite make it, but I'm liking Cloudy on this as well because he prevents any of the flying straights coming through, and we see that Nevbox, he's not able to run up to Earth Shadow quite as quickly as he'd like to.
And that is the second time we've seen Rob get hooked out, and Cloudy and the gang have just punished him all over the place. Someone is finding shot after shot onto multiple members of LPBBL, and they're just falling apart at the seams here.
Yeah, Suwon's able to sit on this left-hand side, whereas the rest of the team, they have to focus on Kirkmany and Faz and Swig holding this front line. And Suwon is a very good flanker, and we've shown that he's got the aim as well as, so he's very happy to stay over there, and they're very happy to send their Widow behind there, just a pocket with the Mercy here and there. Suwon finds Barracuda, out comes the deep one.
That's a nice Diva Bomb. Unfortunately, it doesn't quite find the target as we do see them start to contest on in here. They are stuck in this little room. Cloudy will find the first pick onto nobody, but it's Paddy D is under a lot of pressure. And alongside the rest of the red team, UOB Zeus are just chewing through all of this health, and they will shut them down as they try to get through this choke and will hold fast.
Yeah, Kirkmania stayed outside during that fight, dropped the mines in, and when you're trapped in a room with Bristol Diva, it's not a party you want to be really part of in that situation. We're going to have a quick look at the ult percentages on the side of York at the moment. They have the Earth Strike. If they can walk past the shield, do what similarly that Faz did on the first push, they might be able to take this. Paddy D also has the Transcendence, but still finding these picks over and over again. It's not quite the answer that they needed.
Yeah, and honestly, moving on in here, there's a couple of ults for UOB, which is going to make life a living hell. If that tire lands in the back line, it's going to be a real struggle. They do see the supercharge coming down. They're going to try and win out on this shield wall. And just a beautiful mine coming out from Kirk. We tried to see an ultimate come out from Nevbox, but he's completely shut down by the whole hog. Alongside Suwon finding multiple headshots, even with the tire coming out from Burakawada, there's very little coming through as UOB Zeus just hunt them down.
It's Paddy D does find the 1v1 on Suwon, but Swig is very happy to come in the background and take them out. And this is what is so good about playing Diva Roadhog versus a Reinhardt Rook here. So Diva Roadhog, what's surprised about these guys, we won't often see them, is they've got huge shield break. At 10 meters close range, Diva will eat through shield. You saw Nevbox from that fight, and he had literally no shield. There's the Graviton.
Yeah, and they are looking to try and line up the tire and counter for it, and Kirkmania finds two yet again. Burakawada is also trying to frag out, but it is a bit of a struggle when the rest of his team isn't really there to help. UOB Zeus push up aggressively. There's like no time left on the clock. UOB Zeus are going to stall them out in the end and take this first map, if I'm not mistaken. They're looking to try and come in and contest a little bit too early on my part. We see the tire come on in. It finds two. Fantastic there. And they're going to move on to this point, and they're just about going to be taking this first point with absolutely zero time to go.
Birmingham, the door was closed on for a short while, and Burakawada, he opened it. He had the key that they need, and they will take point A, which is giving them a little bit more of a healthy time bank coming into point B. 2 minutes 26 to be exact. Now the guys on Birmingham, they've got to dig deep a little bit now, because they don't want to get from point B, because it's very easily done to move over to point C and take down as well as. At the moment, we don't see York transitioning over to a dive comp. They are still running the Roadhog with the Reinhardt and the Zarya. They just want to muscle their way through this first one. Like I said, teams will definitely jump down on the first corner and prevent them from trying to take this one.
They are looking for that opportunity now. We see Cloudy jumping down first, and Faz and Swig, all the tank trio, are looking to hold them here. Rob goes aggressive. So far, he's been punished for that, but he is continuing to do so. Swig eats a lot of damage when we see the supercharge come down. Nevbox gets an alright shatter, but unfortunately, there's no follow. Burakawada does find two, though, on those backline squishies. Fantastic play from them, and they will just roll on through here. UOY looking good.
York, they took this one, but Suwon had such a lovely flank, but wasn't able to find the kills, and I think that's where things started to go downhill. He wanted to find the kill onto Paddy D, he found a body shot, didn't quite find the entire kill, however, and after that, he wasn't able to find those tanks. Riptide comes out here, and they're definitely looking for the Mercy.
Yeah, Kirkmania is on the hunt. He has been a pretty adept hunter so far. He finds the Mercy there, and that is huge. They're now going to move on in. Suwon even finds Burakawada as Faz goes aggressive here, finds a nice fire strike, does find a kill, and alongside the rest of his team will beat them back. This is going to be a hold here as they're looking to hold on the second point.
I like this switch on Suwon as well. He understands that he's not doing as well as he could be doing on Widow, so he switches over to the Pre, who operates in tighter spaces. And the moment, that is where the entirety of York are going for. But they have a 5 stack of ultimates here, so if anything goes down on top of that Graviton, it's going to spell defeat for Birmingham. So all they need to do is they need to use this Valkyrie very well, or just lose the fight quickly and then get back onto it. So playing split is definitely not something that they can not afford to do.
A nice Diva Bomb, but it gets blocked up by the side of Nevbox. Good, using that shield well. That's a nice ultimate coming out there, and the sword doesn't even find a Kirkmania with the trap. He only finds one, and it's Paddy who actually does it. Rob does find Faz, but the melee continues. It looks like UOY might just come out on top here as they do start to take out some of these tanks, but Kirkmania is coming in with the tire, and we do see the high noon come up from Suwon. It's double ultimate, and it's double one snake eyes coming out from UOY as they just fall at such unlucky play.
Zeus take this one. I love that last play, right? They put them into such a box, right? They pull out the Deadeye. You've got to hold up the shield. You can't drop it to go for the Flame Strike onto the tower as it comes through. So what decision do you make in that situation? You drop the shield, try and go for it. Deadeye goes off, finds two, and the Riptide takes the others. Such a perfect fight here. And T keeping everyone nice and topped up and finishing up with a lovely blast from the Caduceus Blaster.
Fantastic play there from, well, both sides, but in the end, obviously, UOB do come out on top, and definitely deservedly so. We're just going to go to a quick break while we make sure everything's alright on the stream end. We've only had a little bit of time to sort all that out, so we'll see you in just a second. Now, hello and welcome back, everyone. We are just getting into the second map of today. It's going to be Eichenwald. I just realized I still have the Twitch open, so sorry if you just heard an echo. I was just checking on the sound and everything, but I do have my lovely co-caster here with me today. How are you doing today, Blank?
Everything's well. Everything's well. It's been hot in England. It's always hot in England. It's never stopped being hot in England. So the car ride up to here was pretty awful. But we're out now. We're in the cool streets and castles of Eichenwald, which I like to see. And we've not seen Eichenwald in quite a while. Contenders hasn't seen it too much. We haven't seen it in Owl too much either. But this is a very fun map. Point A, there's a lot to be done. Flanks and soft flanks are incorporated a lot of the time because you play it around the clock tower in the middle. And coming through the streets phase and the final phase, there is lots of different avenues. And we've got some cool matches today because if Birmingham don't take this one, we will go over to King's Row. And that's a more interesting map that we can talk about.
Yeah, it certainly is. It has a lot of interesting different comps more than anything. Speaking of comps, what kind of comps are we really looking to see? Specifically on first point, we have a couple of inklings from Kirkmania hovering that Junkrat, which I wholly wouldn't be surprised to see, and Swig hovering that Roadhog again.
So again, what we'll probably see, and we saw it last game, is that Birmingham will most likely play anti-dive again, using that Junkrat as an accessory to the anti-dive, using that Junkrat trap forwards to prevent any Genjis that we saw last time come towards the front line and just stop them there in the tracks, using the concussion mine to displace tanks like Reinhardt, Zarya, and just putting down the pain. Because if you've got a Mercy damage boosting Kirkmania, which a lot of time T was, he's doing about 156 damage per direct grenade. He's doing 156 damage per direct concussion mine. It's a lot to contend with, and if you can't control that as a Reinhardt Zarya, you're not bubbling effectively and efficiently, you will just slowly get pushed back. And that's the thing, Rook, that anti-dive doesn't have a clear win condition other than control the push coming out from Reinhardt Zarya, whereas Zarya, she's looking to get Graviton as soon as possible.
And we have been seeing, unfortunately, a little bit of lackluster plays from Rob. We've seen some nice plays from him as well, often on high charge, but needs to utilize that a little bit more. Was getting hooked, needs to play a little bit more passively, perhaps around Nevbox. Needed a little bit more of that communication as a duo. And I think if we see that, we'll see the side of York have a remarkable improvement as we move on in here, because they will get some really nice engagement. We saw some great ultimates coming out from everyone, some good Genji play as well from Burakawada. So definitely keep it in mind that University of York did get a little bit shut out on the last map, but they're certainly not too far away that it's going to be an uneven match coming out in here.
Yeah, they're not down now. So Rob, so far, what I've seen from him, at least from his Zarya play, has been that he gets the high charge quite quickly and then doesn't seem to know what to do with it. He goes very aggressive at times where it doesn't seem so. But I think the fact that he can retain such high charge a lot of time, I think what I'd like to see him do here is be more of a stalwart champion for his supports. So when you're playing this, they were playing quite a few flankers. They had Genji and such. You want the Mercy to be able to go heal the Genji and then come back to a safe tank line. At the moment, Rob is very far out, so when Mercy comes back, she's in the thick of things. She does not want to do that because she can't go back to the Genji because he's dueling it out with a McCree. Mercy does not want to be anywhere near that guy.
And honestly, we've seen some great Mercy plays come out from both sides, and I really want to highlight T, who did see come out in that last little highlight reel that we saw at the end, play of the game. Fantastic play from them, and really good understanding of who needs the healing, who needs the damage, and generally, alongside Kirkmania, was helping chew through a lot of the health, and with that spam, with the really great Orisa coming out as well, the team just looked like they were a well-oiled machine.
Oh, of course. And I think one thing that we don't really talk about enough is positioning on Mercies. Now, a lot of the times we saw T, he was never in a bad position, always in a place where he was flying from one point to the next, never in the sight lines of any of the flankers. Suwon was finding a lot of times, I think it was nobody on the Mercy Supernova, finding those picks all over the place. Now, T, in those cases, he had a very good survival rate a lot of the time. So he's been watching a lot of Bear Grylls documentaries recently, making sure he's up to scratch so he can adapt and survive. But staying in the fight as long as possible and then bringing out the Caduceus Blaster just for a little bit of style points. I'm about that. I'm about that.
And T is one of these, T herself is one of these members of the UOB Zeus who are part of that original UOB Zeus lineup, who were very strong, who did win out on the NUEL. This team obviously lacking a little bit of the firepower that they once had. They do have players like Kirkmania who are still there. Suwon is obviously one of those impressive players, but has been a little bit rusty from what we saw in multiple other tournaments, but has started to show some of that previous form. For example, on the start of defense, absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, the guy seems a bit patchy, but when he pops off, he pops off. It's fairly impressive. So we see him getting triples, but when there's key moments where on the flank on Dorado point B, when he was up on the high ground and he's not finding those picks, those points are really crucial towards his team, and it's a lot of times where they'd lose out. Now we're coming 5 seconds down. We have seen what the comms are going to be count, and it's pretty standard. I like that these guys on UOB, they play the triple tank with the Diva, and most of the times she actually duels out with the flankers, making sure that Swig and Orisa can keep that strong tank core, and Cloudy keeps them out of the way. But they're going to immediately go down the right side.
And they will look for this opportunity. They start to splitting off to the left. We see some of the 1 points. Rob does get taken down early by Suwon. A nice pick as Nevbox moves on forward, is starting to get the hammer on in there, but eats a lot of damage for it, and as a result, Suwon finds his second kill of the game. He's the only one to find it so far, but nobody will also fall to him. Suwon is popping off alongside the help of his team. Kirkmania also unloading a hell of a lot of damage, and they will finally go through its strategy, and Cloudy is going to be the one to claim the second player to find a kill in this game, and UOY is sent back to the drawing board.
Yeah, and this is what I'm talking about. Suwon, he's either extremely strong or lackluster. In this case, seems like he's being a little bit more careful at the end of the point. Suwon finding Rob there as well, as is going to give time for Cloudy to get back into the fight. He did jump off there because he lost his mech. That does take quite a while to get back into, so he'd much rather just come back from spawn. But Kirkmania, he has the Riptide here ready to go. That's probably going to jump onto Rob or Supernova. They don't have a Mercy to res the Riptide up, so it'll be absolutely critical to see who he can find. Needs to find 1 to 2 members in this fight to make sure it's clean and efficient.
And they're just generating ults right now. Swig just got his. There's 4 looking towards 6 coming out from University of Birmingham. And Kirkmania, yet again, finding another kill. Certainly watch out for him, as this is so much pick potential on the side of University of Birmingham, as they just keep on rolling through as soon as they get that advantage. And we're going to see everyone from University of York just run away as we see nobody get staggered out there.
So this is actually really confusing. So we have a 6-pack of air ultimates. Barracuda has only just got his Graviton, but why are these guys playing quad tank into a spam comp? That makes legitimately no sense, right? Spam is essentially designed to beat out quad tank comps like this because they just cannot get close to him. The shield breaks beforehand. Barracuda's got to find a big Graviton.
And we see the Graviton come out, but unfortunately, it doesn't really hit all too much. They do take out T, but that's gonna be it, as the rest of their team is beaten back yet again. UOB Zeus utilizing their ultimates properly and just denying anything to come out from the side of York.
Suwon sees Rob trying to go onto the point and just says, no, buddy, turn off the music. Suwon is going to go. Cloudy's up here on the Diva, just make sure T can get back to the point as quick as possible using that Guardian Angel. Love a little bit of tech here and there. And now we will see Swig on the left side here. He needs to find a big hook because he knows that a lot of the guys on York are going to be committed to some of their ultimates, Nevbox and nobody in particular. So he wants to be able to take out a critical target early on. We do see him crouching up here. Wants to find either Barracuda or Rob in this instance.
How do you feel about this complete comp switch up coming out from the side as they do move in? That's nice. Actually, Boop coming out from its Paddy D. He's starting to go aggressive. Swig might go down. He does. We do see that Diva self-destruct come over the top. It doesn't find any targets, and they need to utilize this pick, though, as they keep on moving in. Kirkmania with a nice shot. Does take out Netbox, and he's looking towards the back yet again. He's going to bounce everyone around alongside Sword. Him and the gang are just going to destroy everyone on the side of UOY, and they just have to fall back again. They're trying to keep something going, but they just don't have the space.
So they butchered their own ult percentage here. They had 60 seconds, so they could get back up. So they wanted a bit more favorable comp. So they go over to the Pharah. They get the McCree out as well, so he can take out the close range fights with Cloudy and Swig. But Kirkmania, he's dropping out the Riptide straight away. Does find Netbox, and that's pretty much all over for these guys.
Yeah, without that main tank, it's going to be such a difficult position. They do manage to trade a couple of back, but Rob goes down as well. There's no res, there's no nothing. They take Cloudy out of the mech, but Cloudy is going to find its Paddy D, and they don't even make it to the point.
They needed the hard stun of Nevbox. As soon as he went down, there was nothing more to be done in that situation. So that was the only thing that Swig could have really comboed with the whole hog. The rest of it, it was just bad news for York in general. And now, I mean, UOB, they've only got to take a single tick on the point, 33%. I'd like to see what they pick out here. They will most likely be running into something similar that they just played. So the Orisa Roadhog spam comp. So what they want to be doing here is they want to take something like Dive, get on the point, take out key targets. But it looks like they're going to be playing Swig and Faz on Orisa. So I guess they're just going to take this slow, corral themselves into the point.
I'll tell you what. Seeing Kirkmania hover that far, it makes me happy because he has been fantastic on it multiple times. A bit like a British Milan Ran. Fantastic plays coming out from him over multiple seasons from what I can remember, and just really excited to see more from him.
Yeah, you were touting at the beginning of this broadcast as well, were you saying that Kirkmania is one insane projectile DPS player? And you know what, I have to agree with you. Now that I've seen him in full force, this guy does not let up. At the moment, what we're seeing from this man in general is that he stays relatively safe whilst putting out heaps of damage that the enemy team just has to find an answer for over and over again. And this is why you see York constantly switching up, because they're trying to think, how can we deal with this Junkrat? Because he does not come close to us, he's not over aggressive, and he just always has these Junkrat traps in the right place. They are going to be playing Reinhardt Zarya, so they've got very specific win conditions here, which is the Graviton or the Earth Shatter, with on top of the Death Blossom or Kirkmania's Barrage. They have Sug as well, so there's an extra little bit of spice for those engages with the Sound Barrier, as well as the Amp Hit Up with the Speed Boost.
We do see a couple of things come out here. I'm interested to see Suon, whether he can get in there, as he said, with the speed boost. They do notice the trap, obviously. They have been playing with a good Junkrat for quite some time and expecting exactly that. They know what to look for, sorry. Oh my god, and those shots coming out really early from Kirkmania. It's going to completely decimate their health, give an opportunity for the rest of his team to move on in, and playing such a distraction here as Faz goes super hard in the back line. The rest of the team just falls apart, and Faz is just zoning the enemy supports as a Reinhardt, and that is just the game.
That's it. That's how it's done. UOB Zeus showing us how they slam the lightning down onto the point, and you know what? I'm happy for these guys. 2-0'd it. They will take the first series and continue on.
I do believe we are playing a third map, from what I remember, just for the point differential, as it was last week. We are playing all 3 maps for every single game.
Well, that's fair enough. Let's go straight to the deathmatch then. Let's get onto the Koth map. We're going to be able to do a quick break once I sort that one out, and we'll be back with you in just a second.
Brings a tear to my eye.
Indeed it is.
Wait, I need to fetch muse. Right, we're going live. Right, hello everyone, and welcome back to our third and final map. This first series, we do have University of Birmingham versus University of York, and so far, University of Birmingham have been absolutely destroying York after a strong first round from York, and they've just not really been able to recover after that first part of Dorado. What do we need to see from them, Blank, to see them get back into this game?
So in the moment here, I mean, York, they play well. They have played well. They actually managed to hold Birmingham for quite a while on. It was Dorado. Unfortunately, however, these guys just can't quite contend, / they don't have the answers for Kirkmania in the background, the way they play. And now they're switching up to something completely different here. So they've got T on Anna. But this is attack, so we'll probably talk more about defense, which is probably coagulated towards their proper team comp as they're running towards the base. So here we see the standard York team. They play the Junkrat with Nevbox Rob. Rob has switched over the Reinhardt now, so it's not Nevbox on Reinhardt anymore, so they're going to switch up, pass each other the roles, and nobody is on the Tracer. So this is a question mark for me, because Tracers, they can't blink vertically, Rook, so she can't find the high ground, that potentially it will be Birmingham who will be looking for that.
Presumably it's some sort of comfort pick for them. It's obviously not one of the greatest picks here. Obviously Genji is a little bit more suited, but I'm surprised we don't see any Widow from them. Maybe they don't have that competent hit scan player. And I think, honestly, that's a big thing to lack in this meta, is one of those competent Widow players, because it's just such a dominant character as we move on in here.
Yeah, I mean, the best way to counter a Widow is with another Widow. And if you don't have that Widow, you have to invest into dealing with it. Nevbox and Rob dropping back, and now they've opened up the backline.
And we do see them going aggressive. Cloudy getting right up on in their face alongside Faz. Faz does get that healing in the nick of time, and Suwon is starting to find heads. And once he starts finding heads, you know, things start to fall apart pretty quickly for University of York, as Suwon making his mark, and Burakawado is trying to do as much as he can. But there's just so very little that he can do here, as the rest of his team just decides, you know, we're going to stay back and not even try.
So, it's extremely convincing. And this is the problem, is that as soon as one player goes down, be it a tank on the side of York, someone can just start to open people up. And with surgical precision, he will just start cutting to your team, because you have nothing to contend against that Widow. You have to contest her. Otherwise, you're just constantly threatened by that long-range DPS.
And someone is, as you said, is a bit streaky, but if you give him as many opportunities as he wants to find that first shot and then go from there, he is going to streak every single time, and it's going to be so terrifying. Also to do with Kirkmania, who's just finally going down, but in general just providing so much spam. They are trying to look for this opportunity. Nobody does find a pick in the backline, and this is really good for them. They need to take this advantage. UOY are moving forward, but they lose a couple of players. Someone is finding those shots and trying to delay. He is on that flank Widow, but in the end, they don't manage to find anything off of that early advantage from finding so many picks.
Suwon does force the recall out of nobody, but nobody counters with a pulse bomb to the face. Faz drops back now, and they're going to be happy to take the next fight. They have the barrage, they've got the Earth Shatter. Swig also has the tempo valve, so they're going to probably back off and re-engage after this one. Supernova probably doesn't want to use this Valkyrie defensively, but Rob has to play this hammer, see if he can force Fazaz out first.
Does have that barrage, as you said, looking for an opportunity to use this, and that hammer would be a good one. Or perhaps something like this Graviton Surge. We need University of York to be very careful. Rob goes very aggressive, and they do actually take out Faz as an opportunity. They need to move forward. They have taken out this main tank, and they start to roll on through. They take out Cloudy, who was just too far forward, feeling a little bit over-aggressive. Suwon does go down as well, and they are going to hold it here with a nice tire, getting Swig and actually stalling him out.
So they've invested only the Riptide into that fight, Rooks. They invested nothing else. Both teams are biding their times, putting themselves up to more and more ultimates in this situation. Rob just going to stick back. Nevbox has the Graviton up in this next fight, so it's up to Cloudy to use his first, so they can't counter grab onto these guys. They don't have a Riptide, so they can't take Mercy down initially. Faz needs to pressure Nevbox though.
And it has been a bit of a struggle, especially since the fact that Rob finally, after swapping through two different roles, finally finds his calling here and has been impressive so far on this Reinhardt in Streets phase. He has his shot, he's looking for it, but he doesn't manage to really find anything of worth as Kirkmania finds two, does go down in the end as Burakawada does blow him up. We're going to see a couple of kills. Nice shatter coming out, and that is going to be the curtains for University of York as they just lose this Streets phase, and we're looking towards that third point.
It was actually a perfectly timed defense from York there. It was actually very unfortunate because Kirkmania was just above the threshold of the Earth Shadow, so didn't fall down to it. It was Rob finding everyone else inside the Earth Shadow, but Kirkmania managed to find value off a double barrage. They countered perfectly with the Transcendence into the Transcendence res, but after that it just came down mechanical skill and Birmingham just won out. But props to York, they played that perfectly. There's nothing else they could have done.
He does manage to find its Paddy D early on, and with nobody going down, the rest does come through, but they do still have this advantage. UOI have to be careful. The dead eye comes out from Suwon, Rob falls, and Burakawada falls off the map as we see University of Birmingham roll on through here, and University of York just struggling, really.
Birmingham still going. Fast looking for the kills. Nobody comes in. Misses the flame strike onto him, so will go down. Finds the kill onto Burakawada's tire, and they're just continuing to push through. They blast the gates open, and that's them taking the point. Birmingham, round 1 complete with 3 minutes remaining. An impressive time bank coming into the set number 2.
Yeah, and honestly, there was actually a couple of scenarios there where we saw University of York show some great form and look impressive, but in the end, University of Birmingham did bring it out and solidly push forward. We need to see some more of those glimpses of greatness come out from University of York if we're going to see them move on through here and take this map and put it to 2-1, even though they have already lost this one.
So I like what you said there, Rook. It's glimpses of greatness, and we do see it. We peek through the blindfold, and it's blinding. See from York at the moment. They play extremely well. Nevbox, unfortunately, what happened was it was Cloudy who managed to get himself up to the Graviton first. So if Nevbox was able to generate more Graviton charge, which he most likely will be able to if put in a position where he's on the attack now, Nevbox might be able to take this. But at the moment, what I'm seeing is it's more the minutia that York is losing out on. And then as soon as they lose out on the minutia, it just feels like the comp starts to crumble and fall apart.
They are trying to play a comp which is really working out, but then, when, as you said, when they lose animation, this micro battle, the team just kind of falls apart as a whole, as if they're just, I was about to say a Jenga tower, but even a Jenga tower can handle when you have one of the blocks pulled out from underneath it. Unfortunately, this is a little bit like, I'm trying to think of, what is an example of something that falls out when you take one piece?
Well, I mean, let's put it this way. So York is a Jenga tower. Birmingham, they're a bulldozer. Now, small Jenga tower does not go well against a bulldozer. I can tell you that. I've not seen it, but I can't imagine it goes too well. So York are going for a very, very sneaky flank here. They do have its Paddy D on the soldier here, so using that repositional value with the sprint to get into a better position. But Suwon is just going to hold that one down, so Rob has to keep the barrier up, but already it's 1,000 HP down.
They are trying to take this top floor. They're going to contest Suwon. Suwon goes down. Nice pick from his Paddy D. They're going to have this high ground, and with that, they're looking for an opportunity to move on in here. Unfortunately, there's a couple of members. It is now all even Stevens, as we do see Burakawada trying to find something. Will Wraith form out, but will die regardless, and this is good for the side of Zeus, as they do manage to start taking this kill advantage, and it was looking not so great. They were down in terms of spawn advantage, so it could have been good for University of York, but in the end, they just managed to find those couple of kills.
So where a soldier shines, right, Rook, it's on these high grounds. I thought it's Paddy D there, and soldiers can put down the pressure, but it's something that you can start to ignore once you remove main tanks like Rob like that. The Cloudy did so well. It's Paddy D, you're only doing about 19 damage per tick of shot, and the only thing you have to watch out for is the high burst from the Helix rocket, and even that goes on a long cooldown, so you can specifically know when it goes down. Cloudy now in the front lines looking at Rob. Rob gets caught in a Junkrat tire and goes down, and Kirkmania can start to move forward without the worry of a barrier being in the way of his mines.
And this has been UOB Zeus. They find that back into the main tank. They roll from there. They just are so consistent with this spam to taking that away from the enemy team, and they just know how to punish it. And University of York aren't used to playing without their tanks, who are unfortunately just getting focused by the entirety of Birmingham.
Yeah, and Swiggy here, he's playing in Hotel at the moment, and the soft flanks that he goes for although they're very easily dealt with, they are splitting up York hard. They're unsure how to play against it. And at any time, Sui can just back off, take a breather, move into mini. Diva self-bomb comes out.
And that is going to be too Cloudy, finding really nice placement in those gates, and that will be yet again another 2 picks, and they're just going to try and just snowball off of it. They're looking for some extra kills. Kirk is repositioning as well. Burakawada can't even live as this Widow in the back line. University of York struggling to stay alive.
York backing off now. Supernova pulled in. They have to reset. Without your Moira, so much healing. I mean, nobody just has not enough healing with the amp it up. With the aura, it's not as good as it used to be. It cannot sustain an entire team. He is more a utility support. So without the Moira there to help him, they can't do anything. And again, they're running quad tank into pretty much spam, which again, like I said earlier, counters it.
Suwon finding that pick. We do see the Graviton Surge come out, but it just doesn't mean anything. There's shields there. There's no follow-up. And Netbox even eats a lot of damage. There's a nice shatter, and they do find a couple of kills. But again, there's just too many members of the University of Birmingham ready and willing to counter as University of York just run into another brick wall.
At the moment, York just can't seem to find anything. The tank line is so disconnected from that back line at the moment. As soon as they go down, quickly and easily, Faz puts down the Orisa shield to split the front line and the back line apart, and then quickly, they just dismantle both.
They are bringing out the Doomfist now for Burakawada. If they can get him to find one of those early picks, it's going to be good. But they have to deal with Suwon, who is so good on this Widow at dealing with these Doomfists. It's going to be a real difficulty, as we do see Swig looking for this opportunity. We see the tire coming out as well, looking for where it goes. It's just waiting.
If this finds anyone, it does not matter, Rug. It will end this fight.
Oh my god, and that is a major one in and of itself. Burakawada doesn't even delay on the point for his team, as UOB just holds so definitely.
And like I said, the root tire came out. They had to counter it. They had nothing to do against it. Rob went down once again. He plays like he's not part of York. Like, it's as if he's not on the same team. He's like, player 3 has entered the game. And he just runs forward. And at the moment, I think he needs to start coordinating with his backline. Make sure they know he's going in when they're going in.
They do need to get a little bit more on the same page, but unfortunately that will be the end of it all for them, as we do just move over in a second. So unfortunately for them, they do lose 3-0 to UOB. Let's move on in here.
Congrats, guys. You played well.
They did. Sorry. Right. Yeah.